This was our first stab at it. We have changed that in 2010, just last session. I authored the bill because someone came and said, boy, we can do better than what we originally did. Would you carry the bill? You're the budget chairman. You're more likely to get it passed because it's going to have a price tag. And so I said, certainly, and we erased the limit. We disallowed aggregate reporting, and so now every single expenditure, not just a receipt that says we spent this amount at Walmart, everything that was purchased at Walmart is going to be listed online as well. So we built on the success. We called it Open Books 2.0, and it passed with probably 95 votes out of 101 in the House, and the other 5 were just people that didn't like me. And so it was very well received. This is a pretty lengthy screen here. It has a lot of information on it, but these are the ways that we upgraded our website. It removed a minimum threshold, which was really low when it originally started at $50 per transaction. If it was under 50, then you didn't have to report it. So if you went to Starbucks, you got a $10 cup of coffee, that wasn't going to show up. Now everything that you do, there is no threshold. There is no more aggregate reporting. As I said, everything is reported. We also required it be searchable and downloadable by anyone who uses it. We didn't have that feature. They could just go and look at it. Now they can actually extract the data and download it. And we also required them to have an archive. Now, like the last presenter said, we met resistance from the Office of State Finance when we first brought this about. We can't do it. We don't have the technology. We can't afford it. It's going to be too expensive. Well, we've done all of this in the most austere years that we've had as a state. And I can tell you the total price tag for our Open Books 1.0 was about $50,000 because we did have the technology. The agencies did have it, they just didn't want to use it. Or they didn't want us to use it. They didn't want the general public to use it. The upgrade, the 2.0 bill that we just did last session, cost us an additional $150,000. That's $200,000 for the accountability, the transparency, and the openness, and the better spending efficiency. That's not a great investment for the return. Additionally, we added tax credits, which is always a tough subject in the legislature. It's always controversial when people take business tax credits and incentives. Always lots of consternation about that. So we put them online, not just like we did in '07. We put anyone that was in the chain, anyone that was able to claim the credit is now on there, not just the umbrella organization that does claim it and then disperses it to all the others under the umbrella. Everyone that is in the chain that is able to obtain the credit is listed as well. Another thing that we did just this last session was the School District Transparency Act. Now, this wasn't direct to Open Books 2.0, and this isn't on Open Books 2.0. This is through the Department of Education website. We have 530 school districts in Oklahoma. We have 77 counties. It's a little bit ludicrous, but nonetheless, we have that. All of the districts provided some level of transparency. Each of them had a website, but there wasn't any guidelines as far as what they had to report, and so we gave them consistent guidelines, constant guidelines. We made them report it through the Department of Education's website. That did not cost us any money at all. Now, this is not direct to budget transparency per se like Open Books 1 and 2.0, but I do think it's important because it's talking about transparency of the legislative process in general. As was mentioned in my introduction, I was fortunate to be elected with the changing of the guard when we went from Democrat to Republican. That had only happened one time in our 100-year history, and that was only for a 2-year period of time. And so when we took over the House in '04, a lot of folks that had served for a while was like, well, if we ever take over, we're going to do this. And if we ever take over, we're going to do that. And so then we took over, and so we had to do some of that. And so everything in Oklahoma was done with just about zero technology. Every bill that was introduced, every amendment that was introduced was done so in paper form. We would have pictures of our desk at the end of the legislative session when we were running out of time. You would literally have things on your desk this high. And I don't know if you all do that, but it was a House rule that you had to have a copy of the bill before it could be voted on. Well, now we don't have paper copies at all. Every member was given a laptop computer that is, they can use on their desk in the chamber or in their office. We were criticized for that at first because we spent $300,000 on laptop computers. Well, what a waste. They all want their own laptop. We save about $700,000 a year by that one action of having people have each legislator have their own computer, because we saved $300,000 in paper costs. And then all of the staff time that's involved in those kinds of things. So we saved a lot of money by providing internet, wireless, and the laptop in the chamber. We also made every bill that was filed had to be filed online. That way we had an automatic timestamp. So you knew when it was introduced. We also put in time rules, which we didn't have before. A bill has to sit over for at least 24 hours in the Oklahoma House. If it's amended, it has to sit over 48 hours. Every amendment that is filed has to be filed electronically. It can't be filed by paper anymore at all. That provided increased transparency and openness, because anyone that wanted to, not just those in the chamber, those in the Capitol, anybody could go and check out those amendments. And I tell you, a lot of the I guess, woolly boogers that are caught by people that are looking at legislation online. I got a call from the mayor of the town that I represent and said, you can't pass this bill. This is in there. I'm like, that's not in there. She goes, it's in there. Go look on page so-and-so. And that ability for everyone to access the legislation and the amendments is very helpful to legislators who need extra eyes as well. Also, we implemented where every committee vote is recorded. When we first took over and we didn't have the technology, it was recorded by voice vote. Now we actually have inside the committee rooms a yes or no button, and you put your card in and then you vote, and it's recorded on the House website. Every vote that we take, whether it's in committee or in the chamber, is recorded. That helps as well. For the first time ever, we have live streaming video in the House chamber, and certainly that helps us be a little bit nicer and more respectful of each other when we're debating. Looking forward in Oklahoma, I am hopeful that we are going to be able to also not just put our agency spend online, but to actually put our checkbook online, which is our warrant register. So you will be able to see the expenditure side of things when the agencies do it with their P cards and with the other things that they do, but the actual check and the warrant register, I think, is also helpful, and you can match up those expenditures from the agencies with the actual check or warrant being written by the state treasurer. That's been done in a few states. That was done, I think, in Delaware, Alaska, Arizona, and there are several others that are looking at doing that going forward. But again, my exposure to it and really my interest in it was not just to provide the citizen with education and information to be a better informed voter, which is extremely important. My reason for getting involved with it was so that we can save money, that we can be more efficient, that we can direct our very limited resources into those core functions of government. When you wipe $1 billion out of a $7 billion budget, which we had to do in Oklahoma in the last 2 years, you've got to make sure that you get those special little projects that are nice but are not core functions of government out. I can tell you every single spending that we have, someone is a champion of. We had lamented for years on getting rid of some pet projects that have no business being in state government. We have, we finally took over the Senate in Oklahoma, and when we took over the Senate, we're like, well, finally, we'll be able to have Republican rule. We can get rid of these special projects that these former Democrat legislators used to have, because we took over former Democrat seats with a Republican. So I was excited. Finally, I'm going to be able to get rid of this sports authority. Finally, I'm going to be able to get rid of this Pollard Theater. Finally, I'm going to be able to get rid of this. And I tell you, the new representatives, the new senators that came in said, well, I can't lose that my first year. You can't do that to me. I've got to keep that. It's going to look like it's my fault. Well, when you're focusing on core functions of government, when you shine sunshine, where everybody can see the irresponsible spending, it makes us a little bit less likely to do it. And so that was the reason that I got involved. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Dr. Vetter, it is great to see you.